In this story, we investigate the cryptic Monster with 21 Faces, an unsolved mystery that begins in 1984 with the abduction of the president of one of Japan's prominent companies, Isaki Glico. The nightmare for Katsuhisa Isaki begins ominously on a quiet Sunday afternoon, March 18th, 1984, within the confines of his estate in Ashiya City, Hyogo Prefecture. With the passing of the torch from father to son, Katsuhisa Isaki was now leading candy company Glico, continuing the legacy established by his father, Riichi Isaki, a renowned candy tycoon and founder of the company. At approximately 9 p.m., the tranquil atmosphere of the Isaki estate was shattered as two armed intruders breached the perimeter. Enclosed by a formidable brick wall, the estate consisted of two separate buildings. The assailants immediately intruded the building Isaki's mother was located by breaking the glass of the front door. They subdued and bound her before demanding the key to the next building where Katsuhisa's family resided, their actions shrouded in the quiet of the night. Isaki's mother didn't heed to their demands, but they still located their keys in a cupboard and proceeded with the next stage of their plan. Within a minute, the intruders swiftly unlocked the door to Isaki's mansion and bounded his wife and children at gunpoint. Isaki's wife offered money to the intruders right after she encountered them, yet one of them responded, "Be quiet. Money is irrelevant." They climbed the staircase to the first floor and encountered there Isaki's 7-year-old daughter, Mariko, shocked at their presence and ready to scream. They tied her up as well before making any sound, while they also located Katsuhisa Isaki in his bathroom and forcefully dragged naked out at gunpoint. Having everything under control, the two masked men abducted Glico's new president and left the compound by entering their gateway vehicle, which was parked right outside Isaki's estate. The plan went perfectly for the two assailants, but right from the beginning, we can extract some details from their actions. Within the next 30 minutes, Isaki's wife untied herself and notified the police. Osaka and Hyogo departments initiated an investigation but kept the case silent, asking journalists not to report the incident yet. The next morning, a Glico executive, unaware of the kidnapping, received a strange phone call with a pre-recorded message from Isaki, instructing how to find a letter at a public place and also mentioning his abduction. The kidnappers forced Isaki to record this message and threatened him to cooperate by claiming they had kidnapped his wife as well. The abductors demanded 1 billion yen and 100 pounds of gold as ransom, providing directions for the delivery process in the letter. The requested amount was equivalent to $10 million at that time. Isaki's family managed to amass the requested amount and delivered it at the specified location, yet the abductors never collected it. 3 days in captivity, and as police were fully investigating the abduction, Katsuhisa Isaki miraculously appeared at a police department and explained he escaped from a warehouse he was held in Ebaraki, Osaka. located only a few kilometers from his residence. News immediately broke out about the abduction and the escape of Glico's president, and a press conference ensued the same day. Isaki explained his experience to the police in full detail, yet his statement perplexed the investigation further. Right from the beginning, police suspected Isaki had staged his kidnapping for unbeknownst reasons, as various details didn't add up, and his sudden appearance and story of escape only reinforced their suspicions. Although, had Isaki indeed staged his abduction, and for what reason? While the abduction was over, his troubles had only just begun. Weeks after Isaki escaped, Glico vans were set on fire in the company's parking lot, and local newspapers received letters from the kidnappers condemning the company and Japan's police force as a whole. The letter reads,
"To Japanese police fools, are you stupid? There are so many of you. What on earth are you doing? If you are real pros, try catching me. There's too much handicap, so I will give you a hint. There are no fellows in the Izaki's relatives, no fellows in Nishinomiya Police, no fellows in the Flood Fighting Corps. The car I used is gray. Food was bought at Daiei. If you want new info, beg for it in the newspaper. After telling you all this, you should be able to catch me. If you don't, you are tax thieves. Shall I kidnap the head director of the prefectural police?"
A few days later, employees discovered a bizarre and out-of-place liquid container mysteriously placed on the floor of the main company building, and immediately notified authorities, who conducted a chemical analysis of the contents. The results unveiled the sinister truth. The container harbored hydrochloric acid, confirming everyone's darkest fears. On May 10th, 1984, Glico received a new letter, this time signed by the Monster with the 21 Faces. This was the first time the group used this nickname, which is based on the fictional character, the Fiend with 20 Faces, created by Edogawa Rampo. The Monster threatened Glico with the release of products poisoned with potassium cyanide directly onto the shelves of stores and supermarkets. This threat forced Glico to immediately recall all of its products from the market, resulting in multi-million-dollar damages and the dismissal of more than 400 company employees. Major supermarkets ceased offering Glico's products, resulting in a dramatic drop of company sales. Throughout this time, tests performed on products detected no poison. Nevertheless, the company recorded $130 million in losses just from the threat alone. Despite the disturbing conditions and the escalation of threats, the first sign of hope to catch the criminals emerged. Glico had already recalled all of its products from the market, and still, a store employee spotted a lone Glico candy box sitting on one of the empty shelves and promptly alerted the police. Fortunately, the store had installed CCTV cameras, and the police were in for a surprise when they reviewed the recording. CCTV footage captured a suspicious person placing an item that looked like a candy box back on a shelf. At last, the authorities obtained a solid lead in the case and dubbed the suspect the Video Man. Nonetheless, the video quality was poor, as the security cameras of the era were recording in VCR cassettes at a low resolution. The police were able to obtain approximately 20 seconds of footage from different angles. However, despite their efforts, the findings were not enough to identify the suspect, given that he had concealed his face wearing glasses and a hat. The case was far from being solved, yet within these devastating moments for Glico, the troubles of Katsuhisa Isaki and his company were about to end. Approximately 1 month later, Glico received again a letter. This time, the letter mentioned that the group had forgiven Isaki and would cease harassing his company from that moment on.
To our fans throughout Japan, we're satisfied. The president of Glico has already gone around with his head hanging down long enough. We would like to forgive him. It would be great if we could forgive Glico so the supermarkets could sell their products again. Police, you did well. Continue with your hard work. Not even Sherlock Holmes could solve this case. If you read The Fiend with 20 faces, you will learn a lot. Delicious Glico products! We're eating them too. Monster with 21 faces. I will be back next year in January.
The monster had already started extorting other food companies. Marudai Foods received a letter from the criminals demanding money and describing how to proceed with the delivery. During this incident, undercover police officers came close to a suspect and got a clear view of his face and characteristics. They described the suspect as a man who was wearing a grey suit with a height of 175 to 180 centimeters, aged between 35 and 45, with thin eyebrows and thin lips. One of the officers also provided an unusual detail about his eyes, mentioning how they resembled those of a fox. The incident begins with a threatening letter Marudai Foods received on June 22nd, 1984.
Dear Haga, I hope you know about us. Your company did so well because of Glico's mishaps. You should give us some of the money you have due to their failures. Don't you feel bad for not giving us any money? Give us 50 million yen with used 10,000 yen bills. Put 10 million yen in each white bag and wait at Oda's house in Nichiyoshidai. On Thursday, June 28th at 8 p.m., I will call 072-687-1234. Say it's Yamada when you pick up the phone. I'll tell you where the letter is. Once you get the call, start moving. If you don't listen to what we say and obey us, you'll fall into the same situation as Glico.
On the afternoon of June 28, 1984, an undercover agent was following the instructions and received the pre-recorded phone call by the monster. It was a woman's voice recording that directed the agent.
To Yamada. As soon as you read this, move immediately. Take this ticket and go to Takatsuki Station. Take the 819 Kyoto-bound train that stops at every station. It is a yellow train. Get on the second car from the back and sit on the left side marked with the circle. Either circle is fine. Ride the train alone, Yamada. If the seats in the circled area are not available, say that you feel sick and have someone give up their seat. Sit on the side with the tracks and open the window so that you can throw out the bag. Perceive. Once you see the 1 meter square, white flag, throw the bag out the window. Go to Kyoto, and if there is no flag, then do it again. When you retry, contact me.
It did not matter to the monster if it was agents executing his orders. The money, 50 million yen in white bags, had to be thrown out of the train as soon as the money carrier noticed a white flag. Upon entering the train, more agents followed the money carrier and instructed him to disobey the orders of the letter. He boarded the next train to Kyoto, but took a different wagon and sat on a different seat. The purpose was to confuse the criminals, prompting them to reveal themselves and make a move. Aboard the train, police spotted an individual engaging in suspicious behavior as he was observed holding a radio with a large antenna and adjusting the frequency. At the same moment, the fox-eyed man boarded the train. He spotted the money carrier and locked his eyes on him. During the entire route, no white flag appeared. Thus, the carrier did not toss the money out, but he disembarked upon arriving at Kyoto Station. Behind him, the radio man and the fox-eyed man followed, however. The radio man went a different way, while the fox-eyed man followed the money carrier. As no agent followed the radio man, he mingled with the crowd and was never seen again. The fox-eyed man kept tracking the money carrier. He watched while he called his headquarters and waited for him to come out of a restroom. A different agent on the scene contacted the Osaka police headquarters twice, and he was instructed not to confront the fox-eyed man unless he made a move to the money first. The carrier decided to follow the headquarters instructions from the phone call he made and return to the train platform. Meanwhile, the fox-eyed man kept stalking him even more closely, and he was seen even just 3 meters behind. Both of them boarded the train, but on different wagons, and both disembarked at Takatsuki Station with the fox-eyed man still shadowing the money carrier. Outside the station, the agent entered a car that drove him back to Marudai. At that moment, the fox-eyed man headed back into the station and boarded the next train bound for Kyoto. Upon arriving at Kyoto Station, agents watched the fox-eyed man standing and waiting on the platform. The directions the group had given to Marudai was to retry the exact same procedure if the money was not delivered within the first attempt. Yet this wasn't going to happen, as the money carrier had already abandoned the procedure and the fox-eyed man had witnessed him doing so. Therefore, after a while, he exited the station and followed an underground passage where the police lost track of him. In September 1984, Morinaga tragically became the monster's next target. In a letter addressed to the moms of the nation, the group unveiled a disturbing revelation sending shockwaves through the Japanese society.
To moms throughout Japan. In autumn, when appetites are strong, sweets are really delicious. When you think sweets, no matter what you say, it's Morinaga. We've added some special flavor. The flavor of potassium cyanide is a little bitter. It won't cause tooth decay, so buy the sweets for your kids. We've attached a notice on these bitter sweets that contain poison. We've put 20 boxes in stores from Hakata to Tokyo.
Authorities issued a nationwide alert and scoured supermarket shelves across all cities in the country. Their search revealed 20 boxes contaminated with poisonous substances, although each box was bearing a warning sign, clearly indicating the danger within.
Danger! Contains poison! You'll die if you eat this! The monster with 21 faces!
More extortion letters reached Morinaga, where it was implied the mysterious group would start releasing poisoning products without attaching warning labels. Similarly to Glico, Morinaga suffered financially since the food company had to recall products, reduce production, and even asked financial assistance from the government, with demand evaporating and losses amounting to millions.
噛まれて幸せ。
森永ハイチュウ。
Police were dispatched daily now to supermarkets across the entire nation. Shelves were emptied of Morinaga products, and the police were unable to find the criminals. The Japanese society was left reeling in disbelief. A small group of thugs was threatening public health and challenging Japan's foundations. Until that moment, the country was considered safe with limited criminal activity, and never before had it witnessed corporate kidnappings or mass poisoning incidents to this scale. The monster with 21 faces did not stop with Morinaga, but proceeded with extorting more confectionery and food companies. In November 1984, the criminals again mailed a threatening letter, this time targeting House Food Corporation in another brazen act of extortion against a food company.
We are the culprits involved in the Glico and Morinaga incidents. If you do not want to become another Glico and Morinaga, put out the cash. If you do not respond, we will poison your products.
Following this new threat, House Foods contacted the police, which was more organised and determined than ever to catch the criminals. On November 14, 1984, during the money delivery demanded from House Foods, agents located again the fox-eyed man in Shiga Prefecture. He was spotted wearing a golf cap and glasses. He was standing at a telephone booth and immediately left upon noticing he caught the attention of two agents who started making a move toward him. However, when the agents asked the headquarters for instructions via radio, they were ordered not to chase the man, as the aim was to wait and confront anyone trying to reach the money. The suspect fled the scene with ease, and agents also noticed a suspicious Nissan Skyliner speeding away from the area. An hour later, and during the night, a Shiga officer spotted in the nearby area a parked station wagon with its headlights off but the engine running. He approached the car with his flashlight and noticed the face of the driver, which was none other than the fox-eyed man, who was wearing the same golf cap and headphones as previously. The sudden appearance of the police officer caught the fox-eyed man off guard, and he instantly pressed the speed pedal and fled. The police officer attempted to pursue him, but the station wagon had already vanished. Hours later, police found the station wagon abandoned near a train station. The vehicle was stolen, and when officers searched it, they discovered radio equipment used to listen to police frequencies. The fox-eyed man had once again vanished, despite the police having reached closer than ever to catch him. After all this time, all these incidents and extortion cases, the Japanese police were still unable to trace the identity or the motives behind the monster with 21 faces, despite the nationwide manhunt. police identified Manabu Miyazaki, the son of a Yakuza boss and a Yakuza member himself, as their prime suspect. Miyazaki was suspected because of the striking resemblance to sketches the police had drawn after their encounters with the fox-eyed man, his earlier anarchist and anti-police activity, and having in the past acted as a whistleblower regarding Glico's disposal methods. His prior disclosure to the police about Glico's illicit waste disposal practices in 1977 and 1978 also suggests a potential motive. However, he denied any involvement in the Glico-Morinaga incidents and provided a convincing alibi for his whereabouts during the days and times the police encountered the fox-eyed man. His alibi, which placed him in Kyoto during all sightings, led the police to clear him as a suspect. Despite Manabu Miyazaki's denial of involvement until his death in 2022, some researchers still consider him the prime suspect. He published his autobiography in 1995 and translated it into English in 2015, profiting greatly from the sales. The mystery of the monster with 21 faces left an indelible mark on him, overshadowing the rest of his fascinating life. The lead cover of his biography features the police sketch of the fox-eyed man, a choice that could be interpreted as either a shrewd marketing stunt to boost sales or an implicit admission of guilt. Manabu was intelligent and cultivated, likely equipped with the specialized knowledge, skills, and ability to undertake such complex and demanding operations. He was capable of orchestrating such criminal activities on his own or with the assistance of trusted colleagues. However, despite exhaustive efforts, law enforcement found no evidence at all to definitively link him to the crimes, leaving the identity of the true mastermind veiled in mystery. By August 1985, the criminal group had been terrorizing food companies for 17 months, yet the police had made no significant progress in their investigation. Officers questioned thousands of suspects to no avail. No one could provide reliable information, and no compelling evidence was found. The media condemned the inefficiency of the Japanese police at every opportunity, fueling social discontent. Within this dire environment, the police were pressured to act and decided to strip middle-ranking officials from their positions in an attempt to appease the media and demonstrate their commitment to reform. On August 7, 1985, filled with shame and despair from the unsuccessful attempts to solve the case, and after getting demoted from his rank, Police Superintendent Shoji Yamamoto of Shiga Prefecture committed suicide by setting himself on fire using kerosene in his backyard, hours after he was relieved from his post and assigned to the National Police Agency. This tragic event was unexpected even to the monster with 21 faces, and 5 days later, the group released a new letter announcing it was ceasing its criminal operations.
Yamamoto of Shiga Prefecture Police died. How stupid of him. We've got no friends or secret hiding place in Shiga. It's Yoshino or Shikata who should have died. What have they been doing for as long as 1 year and 5 months? Don't let bad guys like us get away with it. There are many more fools who want to copy us. Yamamoto worked for a career and died like a man. So we decided to give our condolence. We decided to forget about torturing food-making companies. If anyone blackmails any of the food-making companies, it's not us, but someone copying us. We are bad guys. That means we've got more to do other than bullying companies. It's fun to lead a bad man's life. Monster with 21 faces.
This letter marked the final communication from the notorious monster with 21 faces. Yamamoto's tragic sacrifice forced an end to the reign of terror inflicted by the monster. Subsequently, copycat gangs attempted similar extortion tactics, albeit less sophisticated. These groups targeted food companies for years, yet the Japanese police successfully resolved nearly all such cases. In 2000, the police closed the case and ceased the investigation as the statute of limitations expired. The offenders and their motives remained unidentified. The mystery of the monster with 21 faces involves kidnappings, corporate extortion, public threats, acts of terrorism, manipulation, arson, and a tragic suicide that marked the end of the 17-month reign of terror. Even 4 decades later, it's possible that individuals associated with this organization are still alive. If the motive was money, how much is this story worth then? 1 million police officers, agents, investigators, and countless mystery enthusiasts could not crack this case open in the last 40 years. The mastermind should be in his 70s or 80s today, if still alive. The child used in the recordings is likely in his 50s now. Everyone who listened to this story yearns for closure, but will we ever attain it? Technology has made remarkable advancements over the decades. Perhaps the police could share information with the public and allow the internet to find a solution. There may still be a way to determine the identity of the monster with 21 faces. Although indeed, maybe not even Sherlock Holmes can solve this one.